Were they disappointed Dan wasn't there? Did they ask for Dan? Yeah, I remember well because it saved me from unconsciousness. And by the way, it's got to be a triangle video because that's all the kids are doing.
We're just a couple of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long. Welcome to episode 17 of the Business Anchors podcast. And in this episode, we're going to be getting deep, but not in a weird way, in a mental health way. It's our most honest podcast to date, so get prepared to venture inside our brains and bodies. Again, not in a weird way.
That is a strange intro, Lloyd.
Can you tell who wrote it?
I think it was you.
Oh, yeah. How did you know?
Because it feels like it's been a while since we've done a podcast, but this is going to be a good episode.
Do you know why it feels like that, Dan?
Because it has been.
Yeah. For the first time, possibly ever.
We didn't stick to our routine, did we, Lloyd?
No. So we've had a bit of a break. So for all the hardcore Business Anchors fans out there,
the thousands of fans.
Yes, the thousands of fans. I'd just like to ask you, why do 990 of you not listen? But sorry about that if you are really itching. I mean, we've been bombarded with messages saying, where's the episode?
Yeah.
So filling up our inboxes.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for sticking with us and thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
We're coming back stronger.
Bit of a new format, isn't it, Lloyd?
Yeah, I think
it's
it's
going to be shorter episodes.
Oh,
do you think?
Potentially. The funny thing is, they've already clicked on this episode, so they may have just clicked on an hour and a half episode, and we're going, probably be shorter, but who knows? You guys know, and we don't yet. That's a privileged position you're in.
So what are we talking about in this episode?
To be honest, it's a bit of a not quite as cheerful start to the podcast,
but
I want to be honest, because actually it's. And I'm not sure even our team are fully aware of this, but when we're supposed to record before, I, for the first time, I'd say, my mental health hasn't been in a great place. And I, surprisingly, having 3 cameras in your face, talking about stuff pretending to be cheerful and entertaining
isn't the best thing to do.
I was dreading when I was feeling shit. So that was the main reason for our pause. And I thought, by the way, don't worry, listeners, I'm feeling great at the moment. But yeah, I guess I wanted to be honest about that because I thought could just keep it to myself. But I know, obviously, especially through COVID, I know a lot of people are struggling mentally because it's changed all of our lives and having to think about things. So I actually wanted to talk about it and be honest with how I've been feeling.
I'm interested to hear more as well.
And so a bit of a therapy session for me right now, listeners.
I'll be your therapist.
Okay, thank you.
How do you be a therapist?
Good start.
Tell me how you're feeling.
I think if you're a therapist and the first question you ask is how do I be a therapist, I don't think you're providing great value to your client. So I won't be paying for this session.
You do ask certain questions though, don't you? Ask questions to, like, open-ended questions. Tell me how you're feeling, isn't that's like a traditional? Yeah. Go on then. Tell me how you're feeling.
I'm feeling really good, thank you, Dan.
At
the moment.
Okay.
And completely myself, very cheerful. Yeah. But I think that was why, where recently I have had, to be honest, only 3 or 4 days where I was really feeling unhappy and not myself. I think that's why it was a real shock to me, if I'm honest.
Because you're literally the happiest person I've ever met for the last 20, how old are you? 30 years?
Yeah. And I honestly do feel that way, and I feel really lucky. I am really happy, really content with my life. And I don't need a lot to keep me happy. I don't need loads of money. I don't need fancy things to keep me happy. Like, you've taken the piss out of me in the past. If I'm watering my cucumbers, I'm a happy man. Interestingly, cucumber plant died.
Are you actually joking?
Bloody hell. I just realised what's caused all this. Yeah.
Has it actually?
Yeah.
But as in,
I think it's like the end of the season. I was trying to keep.
Did it go like brown and?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Which is what's happening inside my brain as well. This is but no, talking about that. So anyway, sorry, listeners, just to confirm. So yeah, feeling great now. I had a period of 3 or 4 days where I really was feeling really down and unhappy. And
like what? Did you know what kind of feeling? Just like horrible.
I was, so nothing that normally brought me happiness was. So normally if I'm with my family, could be doing anything, could be watching the Minion movie with Leo, and I'll be ecstatic, which is weird normally, being that happy. But so those sort of standard things and things that I love, I was really still not feeling myself and feeling really down. And I was also, like I said about, I didn't come in for the day and we didn't record a podcast, because I think as well as, the crazy extent of it is being in front of cameras and being recorded. Most people don't have that in their life.
I wouldn't want to do that though.
But I really was quite anxious about being around people and having people need stuff from me and talking to me, and which again, complete opposite of my normal personality. So a lot of us here are the same, but I don't like working from home. I like being around everyone and that kind of thing day to day. So that's how I was feeling, really unusual. And I don't really, I guess the worrying thing for me is I'm out of it now, feeling great, but I don't know why. So it's not like, I flicked this switch and did this thing and now I'm fine. So I guess I've got to be prepared. Because
you want to try and understand what that is so that you can...
So I've got to be prepared that I might feel like that again at some point. And just know that, I'll come out the other side and be my same annoying, cheerful self. But a bit strange. And I know obviously there'll be people listening that have issues with mental health, and even if it, like for me, I'm not like diagnosed with something, don't see it as a formal thing that I like, I've got this problem, but obviously there was something going on there, and a lot of people probably have that as well, where like it's not like they've been to the doctors about something, but they have periods sometimes where they really feel low and stuff. So you can, now when you feel like that, guys, just think Lloyd Knowlton from the Business Anchors podcast feels like this as well sometimes. So we're in this together.
Well, I hope you're all right.
And I also know that there are people that suffer. I've had this short thing of a couple of days, and there are some people that it's their every day, and it's a struggle, and they're not as fortunate as me to say I'm not coming in and recording the podcast. Like they're going off to a job that they might really not like, and they have to, otherwise there's dire consequences. So I'm in a really fortunate position that I have a supportive environment and people around me. And none of the team here text me saying, cheers Lloyd, we're supposed to record that podcast. You really
they just thought
effed everything out. They just thought it and didn't communicate it, which helped. So that's good.
But I definitely think it's an important thing to figure out what it was that got you feeling better. But again, you don't know, do you?
Well, that's why I've paid you, Mr. Therapist.
Oh yes.
To work that out. So I'm hoping you can help me. So just thought we'd start off talking about that kind of side of things. I don't know, we're brothers, so we should know this about each other, but have you ever had a period of time or anything where you felt really low like this in the past?
I think the only thing was, but it's more things happening, like when I was working in enterprise in Crawley, and then I was like working really long hours, really stressed, and then I had this job opportunity come along, and then I basically couldn't speak on the on the phone interview, which isn't helpful, and then I just like broke down and drove home and quit my job. But that was more like a thing happening. It wasn't like just because you don't really know why you. So I don't think I've been lucky enough to kind of not really.
Because that's the thing. I know obviously mental health is more talked about now, so it's more of a thing that people realise is something. But in reality, in normal life, like you're allowed to be unhappy and sad and not liking the situation. That is part of life at times, isn't it?
But I don't think it's something like proper mental health in terms of not knowing why I was feeling shit. It was like something happened and that was the trigger. It's like,
at least
I know why that I felt rubbish, because I couldn't be on a phone interview and thought that was going to be my saviour out of this job I hated.
It is interesting, like with work, like and as business owners for us, mental health, it's, if I had an I suppose if you're employed, it really depends on your employer. So if I had to call my boss and say I'm really not feeling myself and feeling really sad, I think if I had a good boss, they'd be like, well, supportive. You clearly need to take some rest, just do anything you can to make you feel yourself again. And but I do think there's a lot of businesses out there that certainly wouldn't be understanding, and you'd really feel pressured to get back to work. So I guess sometimes it would be easier, sometimes harder as an employed person.
Do you think you in terms of? Do you think you just applied what the advice you'd give one of our team to yourself without knowing it? Do you know what I mean? Like you just said, I'd tell them to take a rest and do this and do that. Did you just do those things yourself, or not?
Yeah, I guess I did. I think I did. I think it's always hard when it's yourself to see it from that perspective. But I do think I was good to, I didn't feel the need to force myself to come into work and stuff. So, so I think I did. Yeah.
There's one thing that I think may have boosted your happiness as well, which is this little story I just want to talk about, which I want you to tell. Yeah. Which was, where were you? When you were in Dover, was it? Something happened? Someone saw you?
Yeah, I won't say where I was or who. Hopefully you're listening though. But
you were walking along and someone...
I was walking along in public, literally just got out my car, and someone just shouted, "The famous Lloyd Knowlton!" And I was kind of like, what? Hi. And because obviously I imagine if you're Justin Bieber, you're used to people shouting stuff like that, but because I don't know if you noticed, I'm not at that level of fame.
Are you not?
No, not even at any level of fame. So that was a strange
Literally
thing.
Zero
and
fame.
Then what was funny is these kids come, I don't know if it's the person's kids or some other kids that were walking past, but said to, "Is he famous?" And he was like, yeah, he's famous. And I just thought that was really funny. But it was nice. It's always nice when people actually recognise us from the podcast and stuff, and the stuff we do online. But it's also, like we're saying, because we're not famous, it's very unusual.
Yeah.
So I think I just act weird when people do recognise us publicly, because I kind of freeze and think, what's just happened?
Yeah.
But that definitely got me into the positive. No, that was funny though, and it also makes my wife really take the piss out of me when I say that, because she says things like, "Were they disappointed Dan wasn't there? Did they ask for Dan?" Which they didn't even mention Dan, but I'm sure they walked away thinking, shame it was Lloyd and not Dan. Because you're much better.
Thanks. So what other in terms of you feeling better now and stuff, is there any other positive things that have been going on or that have happened that you feel? Well,
this is why I'm normally happy. I feel there's constantly positive things going on. So I'm constantly I love the work we do. I think there's constantly new opportunities that are exciting because we've built the team. I love the people around me and stuff.
You're only saying that because they can all hear you.
They're all forced to listen to us while recording this. Barney stuck his middle finger up at me. Oh dear. I can tell he meant it with love, because he loves being around us. But so lots of good things. But interestingly, let's talk about, for the Business Anchors podcast, this is a segment called Lloyd's Getting in a House Extension.
Okay, go on.
So I, around this sort of time that I wasn't feeling good, so I've had these plans of extending my home.
I know.
Currently got a 2-bed bungalow, guys, just so you know.
And you done a good job of doing it up as well.
Yeah, did it up. So bought it cheap, moved in with my family. Love it. We're going to extend it to a 3-bedroom property. Had these plans.
How exciting.
For about 2 years, actually.
Yeah.
Really been thinking about it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then we came around last week or week before, whenever I was feeling like this, to a point where we're ready to book the builders. Let's go ahead. And all of the quotes would double the price, made it completely unachievable.
Brilliant.
So that
so you booked yourself up for this exciting new extension.
Yeah. And
then boom.
And obviously that's quite a big thing in your life. Like anything, I feel really fortunate that I even got to buy this bungalow. Obviously massive mortgage. Don't mean actually buy it. So lots of people don't even get to that, but your home, investing in your home, is like a big decision.
Yeah,
so definitely. This thing we were, and then so I had some advice from a builder that I know about what cost it would be that we did all these plans around. So in a day,
go from
all of the expectations for the last 2 years
as all just
and trying to save money to make it all achievable. And
do you think that could be the trigger, or was that one of a number of things that could be the trigger?
I think it could have been part of it. Yeah, I think there's one thing that happened at exactly the same time is we went from a period of lovely weather to it raining for about 12 days. And
it was proper summer, wasn't it? And
I do think I absolutely love the summer and I love being outside. So I do think weather does have an effect on me mentally.
There is that sad I've read about.
Yeah, that's how I feel, yeah.
no, it's called...
Yeah,
something,
it's an acronym, isn't it? For
something,
seasonal
something.
Yeah. Editor, you could put the somethings on the screen maybe there.
Yeah.
So watch it on YouTube if you're listening and you'll know what that is. Yeah, so that as well. But I think, so this thing I do think had an effect because there's something I think Dad said to us before. We've got to obviously mention Mark Norman Knowlton in the podcast like we do normally. Where like your happiness is kind of, Dan, you might be able to correct me with this, the difference between your expectation and reality.
Yeah.
So obviously expectation of this big house extension for 2 years and then the reality hitting that's not possible.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
So and interestingly, again, me now think I'm feeling good. This kind of makes sense that this could have been something that had an effect. So it was really like 2 years of planning out the window, feeling, the expectations up here, reality's really low.
That is rubbish, though. I mean, I feel rubbish.
And then we started looking at, once we'd realised we couldn't do it, we're like, well, with the money we do have, what could we do? And started making plans in our home for, like, we could make the garden amazing and we could get a new bathroom and stuff. Suddenly our expectations are much lower, and I'm even more excited about the plans we had originally. So I think that's interesting, and
it's
looking
interesting,
back,
isn't it? How you've gone on that journey of high, low, or even more
other things in life as well. I think in our business, when we've had months, so we forecast our profits and losses in the future by the deals we've got that come in and our costs that we think we're going to have. And when we've had a couple of months where we've started out the month going, oh man, we've got like an £8,000 loss next month. That's really unusual. But then we get loads of work in, and we make a slight profit, and because the expectation was down there, you feel really good. Whereas if we just thought we were going to do really well,
and then made a slight profit, you think, oh, that's not.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like I've been talking for 95% of this.
No,
this
is good though. I think this is nice to. I want this podcast to evolve into something where we both share our honest opinions and feelings of what's happening in personal life and in the business. So I think this is, and if anyone's interested in listening, then good. If not, this is just a good therapy session for us, isn't it?
Yeah. So sorry, listeners, that this is shit, but it's probably helping me. So it's worth it. Something I am excited about, like we've always said about you with physical activity and how it affects your mental health. Do you still think that? Is that something you...
So I think I feel in a really good place at the minute. Well, pre-COVID, I was in a good place. Then all the gyms shut, and I tried to do exercise at home, and I just couldn't motivate myself to do it. And I started cycling, but it wasn't really the same. And then when they opened up again, I've been going out to the gym, and I feel like that's the main thing for me, which is probably, again, I don't know because I'm not like a doctor, but just me analysing myself, I think it's having that constant sort of exercise going on and knowing I'm doing something and getting a good feeling at things, because it releases all these, we've said this in the past, what are these random words? Endorphins, that's
sometimes we say other words
other words, endorphins and serotonin and stuff like that.
Serotonin might be an endorphin, might not.
That makes, so I think that's definitely a big part of me feeling good mentally, is going to the gym most days in the week.
So I'm excited because we've said me and Dan used to play squash loads, which is a really weird sport. Probably makes us sound like we're upper class as well, because not many people play squash. It's actually a shitty little local club. Oh, actually, I mean, if you're listening, people that run the club, I don't think it's shitty. I'm just trying to. It's not like there aren't people riding horses and playing polo around it. It's just like your standard sports club.
Yeah. It is full of some more older upper class people though, but then our group of mates are just the kind of
the other members probably hate us. Bringing the standards down. But yeah, so we've said we're going to get back into
I've re-signed up. I need to fill out the form and we're going to play squash again,
because we used to love it when we played regularly.
Remember that time when you Lloyd did a bit of exercise in the squash club and he was almost fainted, so he had to sit at the back of the squash court and eat a Mars bar.
Oh, you always say Mars bar? It was a Twix.
Oh, was it a Twix?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I remember well because it saved me from unconsciousness. Yeah, because that was the first time we played. So obviously squash is very intense. So going from 0 to squash is probably not a great idea. Yeah. But I'm hoping I'm not going from 0 now because I am more active.
The weird thing about squash I find is it's the only thing where I literally put so much effort in until I feel like I'm going to faint because you want to win the point. And it's so intense running around.
I think also other sports, like so if you're on a big pitch, there's times when the ball is 50 metres away and you could run towards it, but you could just not because you're so far away.
Yeah.
Whereas squash, it's always about 4 paces away. Yeah. So you go, you think, well, it's only 4 steps that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, you do 4 steps hundreds of times.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I really like that aspect to it. Like you just keep going until you physically
I'm really looking
can't.
forward to playing squash again.
I mean, we got really fit. We were doing like
every Saturday
we did 40. It's 45-minute sessions. Sometimes we did triple sessions.
Yeah.
Which now, I mean, I need a number of Twixes to get me through a triple session.
A multi-pack of Twixes to get through that.
It's weird. I've been putting on weight since I've been playing squash. Oh, that's the 8 Twixes, Lloyd. Oh, okay. Right. Okay, that's not how it works.
No, that's gonna be good though.
Yeah. Silence.
Oh no, something else. I remember you spoke to me about this week about your brain not being able to not think of stuff. Like, if you're listening to this, can you just not think of anything? Like, I don't know. If I said you don't think of anything, can you not think of anything?
Only when I meditate.
Okay.
So I forcefully don't think about anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so quite often my wife will be like looking off into space, and I say to her, "Oh, what are you thinking?" She says, "Nothing." And so for the first couple of years, I didn't believe her because I didn't realise people could do that. So I was like, "What are you thinking? Why don't you want to tell me?" She's like, "I'm not thinking anything. Why don't you want to tell me?" And then I've spoken to more people, and I realise not everyone's brain's like mine. So some people don't think about stuff because for example, so if I was sat here and we stopped recording, my brain would look at the top of that mic and the metal that's around that and try and decipher the process of the machine that would do that. And then I think about that for a bit. And then I look over to Barney and I think, I wonder where he gets his haircut. And then I think about where...
change barbers.
I think about where he lives and then think, yeah, it makes sense if he gets his haircut there. And then my mind would go off somewhere else and think... I just looked at a screen over there and I'd be thinking about Microsoft Word, and I wonder what the competitors of Microsoft Word were and how.
Isn't that? I mean, I think I can not think of stuff, but that sounds really annoying.
It is when you don't want your brain to be going.
Yeah.
It really helps when you've got lots to do and like because if my thoughts
are Microsoft Word.
No, this is what I'm saying.
Really productive, Lloyd.
So like being productive, if there's things that I should be thinking about and I can think about all of that and my brain's going. That's good because while I'm doing other stuff, my brain's still going, working this stuff out. If obviously you try and switch off and relax, I think that's where it becomes harder. Yeah. Because last week I got a massage, which is the first time I've
happy ending.
I felt happy at the end, but I don't think it's what you're talking about.
Okay.
And again, I've never done that before, but. Most people say, "Oh yeah, relax and stuff," but because it was just silent, again, I was just thinking of weird stuff, and
I just fall asleep when I have a massage.
Yeah.
Did you not fall asleep?
No, my brain started thinking about the because basically it was in a Bannatynes and there was a spa on the side. My brain started thinking of the business model that Bannatynes Spa had. I thought, oh, there's only one staff member in here at the moment, and it seems like a large space.
Just relax, Lloyd. Crying out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've been interested here with our listeners. Do you what can we give? So you've even got a brain deader So
what's that?
It means at points you can actually not think about stuff.
Okay.
Or you've got a
thinker.
Can you tell us what you are? Because I want to know. I don't actually know if is it a 50-50 split between people who can just switch off or.
But so at night when you go to bed, can you go to sleep instantly or not?
No.
Okay.
I can if I'm really tired, but I mean I came in the other day and said to you, I've been up since 4, and then I told you what I was thinking about.
This is ridiculous stuff.
So my brain, I think there were a few things, but my brain was thinking about the campaign structure for one of our clients here and how the ads could work together and that sort of thing. Then I started thinking about how we live in a 3-dimensional world, but if there's a 4th dimension, there could be aliens that are in that 4th dimension, but we can't sense it. But maybe some animals can sense that 4th dimension.
Okay. It sounds weird.
Yes, very much. And then what I was thinking about, I don't know, something else. Designs for my garden.
That sounds like nice stuff to think about.
Yeah. So I'd be really interested to hear it. Am I weird, or are you weird for being able to?
One of my mates, Leandro's, thinks like you. He says he's constantly analysing everything. So but he's more like, why did you put your arm there? Is that like implying something?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely like that. If any, so
you're quite good at reading people as well, aren't you?
Yeah. I come into work every morning, and so I won't go into detail, but let's go really vague. At some point in the last 2 years, I have known that someone's going to go off sick before they're off sick, because I've noticed changes in them that I think they're going to need some time off.
Right.
So I do think I really am good at. So every morning with everyone, this is going to be weird for our team to hear, but I notice lots of things about them.
Cool.
And then try and work out in my head everything that's going on in their life. And that's what happens with everyone I meet. So guys, if I ever meet you, I'll be trying to work out what time you went to bed last night, how you're feeling.
You should be a therapist, Lloyd. It sounds like you. Actually, no, you shouldn't, because I want you to run the business with me.
Yeah, and also I need the therapy. I shouldn't be.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So that's weird. So tell us if you're a brain dead or a thinker.
Something else you said. Another thing you said this week was about you just hate using your phone now. Yeah,
it's that bloody what's the documentary called? Social Dilemma. Social Dilemma.
Thanks, Barney.
Thank you, Barney. I think we spoke about that a couple of episodes back.
Netflix documentary.
Now that I'm more aware that I'm being manipulated by the algorithm.
We knew this anyway, though.
Yeah, I know, but it's now in the forefront of my mind, the extent of it.
What, your frontal lobe?
Yeah, probably. But now say I'm on. Before we spoke about it, I said TikTok's a really positive platform and I really like going on.
No, you hate it.
Now I'm on TikTok and I'm thinking,
it's just doing that.
I don't like that someone's made an algorithm that's making me want to look at the next TikTok. And so I'm now not getting the positive side of it.
Yeah.
But
it's great when you want to run a social media marketing agency, you need to be at the forefront of knowing how these.
So I'm not going to switch off from these social platforms, but I think luckily in our business you are more that side of things, keeping up to date with all that. Yeah. I'm very much creative side. So if you give me my thing, if you tell me in 3 months, you know that new platform, Whackbook, basically you need to think of something that will captivate people's attention from second 4 to 9 of them watching something. Yeah. And by the way, it's got to be a triangle video because that's what all the kids are doing. Like if I have that, I can then get creative with that. This. Whackbook, triangle videos. Yeah. All we need is Apple to invent a triangular phone, and it will be
sounds
perfect.
completely logical.
And this is, like Gary V. He puts videos out 10 years later. Says he predicted stuff.
Yeah. We predicted the triangle.
We predicted the triangle smartphones and the social media platform that had triangle video. I don't think that's going to be a successful.
No, I don't think so.
Whackbook.com.
Cool.
Cool. So Dan, I feel very selfish with podcast time. I think for the first time, I feel I've really hogged the limelight in this episode.
No, I mean, I've enjoyed this.
So, is there anything you'd like to share with the group?
I haven't got really that much interesting stuff going on as you. Just I've been watching Game of Thrones again recently for the second time around. That's been really good.
Good. And is that making you feel happy?
That is making me feel happy.
Good.
Krista and I watch that in the evenings.
Good.
It's Brody's first birthday on the 4th of November.
Nice.
Loving being a dad.
Nice.
Mine's just all boring, positive stuff.
Good.
We need more of your negativity, Lloyd. Come on.
Normally I'm boring and positive. So, yeah, don't worry, guys. I'll be back to being boring and positive in the next episode. But if that's it, I mean, I'll do the outro because we wouldn't want Dan to speak, would we? But hope you've enjoyed that. And again, sorry if this was a downer, guys, because I wasn't talking about
I think it was good
stuff. But
don't be a downer about it being a downer.
But yeah, just wanted to be open because I think that always helps, and hopefully it helps someone else that might be having a bad couple of days. And subscribe to our podcast and stuff. Thanks.